Hello and welcome to the Technical Miracle Podcast, episode 11. As you can tell from the avatar, I'm dying, I'm on my side, I'm in pain. Joining me are my very patient and lovely co-hosts. Say hi, all at once,
Hi.
Everyone. With a little bit more, as much
only been
enthusiasm
11
as I'm
podcasts.
showing. It's like the 13th, but I lost several episodes, including the last one. So, we're just gonna roll with it. We're just gonna power through this one, boys. Like the surgeons power through the stitching in my ass right now. They just... Oh boy, they were up in there.
This
Oh,
episode is brought to you by Jake's butthole, or lack thereof.
the area above the butthole. Oh god.
The area inside the butthole.
We are within 1 week of recovery right now.
Nice.
It's we're getting there. Alright, let's kickstart the podcast. Dean, you were just playing Deus Ex, weren't you?
Yeah.
Which one?
I was playing the first one.
The conspiracy one. Yeah, that's right. Noah and me played Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, right? Both of us played that?
Human Revolution.
Oh, you
Isn't
haven't played.
Deus Ex the one where they had like microtransactions in the single player game?
Yeah. That was one of them, I believe. It was I think there was another thing called Augment Your Pre-Order, which was pretty controversial.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I always remember these pre-order things. Like Resident Evil 6 had one on PC where like the more people pre-ordered, the more like stuff unlocked. Like, oh, you get a copy of Resident Evil 5. Oh, you get this. It's
But Dean,
Mhm.
you've been playing the yet another game in the sort of autism genre. This time, playing as a character who has crippling
actual autism.
actual autism. J.C. Denton,
Yeah.
what a shame, the man himself. So
It's
how's
like-
that been?
It's been good. I don't know, I don't know what to say about it.
Welcome to the Technical Miracle Podcast, episode 11. 11 episodes in, and we still can't fucking talk about
Don't
video
go
games
on to
properly.
talk about
My
my
name is Jake,
game.
reintroducing everyone, Noah, Joseph, and Dean. Dean has been playing Deus Ex. Deus Ex is a great little game from the year 2000. Game I actually played, and game franchise that you might have played through the Human Revolution and Mankind Divided games. Those were made by Square Enix. This old one was made by, or published by IO Interactive, or Eidos Montreal, excuse me. I don't even know what it was published by, but it was made by Ion Storm. The guys, one of their divisions made Daikatana, which is one of the worst fucking shooters of all time. But the other one was good. They made some pretty cool games, including Deus Ex 1, which saved the company until 2005, until it got shuttered. But Deus Ex 1, really, really cool game. I played it. It's a lot of fun. Dean, why don't you tell the audience what you think about the conspiracies? What do you think it lives up to the hype? Deus Ex 1?
It's, the reveal is not, it's not really a reveal.
Sorry, I was
like-
waiting for the morphine to kick in, guys.
It's
It's in now. If we could.
It's pretty, the big reveal is pretty, obvious from the very start of the game. Something's, they give you a cutscene. They give you a cutscene of, characters conspiring, in, the first 30 seconds of the game.
Do you think that that Deus Ex would be improved by a Genshin Impact climbing system,
Oh fuck.
where J.C. Denton could make pleasured moans while he scales?
Oh,
It
Actually,
would-
I would
technically-
actually love that.
For those who don't know,
That'd be
Deus
pretty
Ex, Deus Ex is one of those games where you could tell like it's a huge game. It's 30 hours long. You go all around the world. It's an RPG. It's pretty big, but
It's broken
at
up
the
into
same time, you can
sections, though.
you can
okay,
tell
Is it
where
better
the
than Far Cry?
well, no.
It's not even comparable.
Let me explain this to Joseph here.
Well, no, hold on, let me finish my thought.
God damn it.
The whole
Okay,
point
go
of what I
ahead.
was saying was that Deus Ex is a game with various quality control. So you can tell okay, we're going to have some really good voice acting right here. And then for these characters, it's going to be it sounds like the fucking developers did it. So like JC
Yeah,
Denton
like all
is
the
just
Asian,
the most
all the
autistic
Asian
sound.
accents in Hong Kong, like.
Oh my god!
sound
It's like they
white
pulled the
people doing
first. It's like they
accents.
pulled the first guy off the street who could speak English or something
Oh,
like
they
that.
sound like a white person.
They literally sound like that.
They're not
Really?
as obnoxious. But
So
they're, like,
so Noah's thing of JC Denton moaning every time you go up like a ladder, that would be great because the voice acting
Wait,
is hysterical.
can you mock one of those moans?
Oh.
Ugh. Ugh.
Oh.
It's like a fucking
Oh.
like fucking Flash gets Oni NG psychic power fucking
Oh, I think it's
Corey
just more
Spaz
like
Kid moan.
it's more like Steve from Minecraft getting
That's
hurt.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe like Dark Souls 1 getting hurt. Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. So to answer Joseph's question, no, it's not really like Far Cry. Far Cry is like one continuous giant world. Deus Ex is broken up into different
Like 5
missions.
semi-sized
Are they? I mean,
worlds.
like, are they similar in pool levels?
What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah. I don't
Now,
know.
let's say you have a ruler. This is cool, and this other game is cool.
Well, Joseph, if we said that it was cool and then you saw the game's graphics, you're like, this looks like shit. Why would I ever play this? This doesn't look cool.
but one
but if
has
I were- if I were
8
to s-
O's, the other one has 3 O's. There's a difference.
If I were
Like,
to
Joseph,
say it was
Joseph,
cool,
think
I would
of
give it like an 8 or a
uh,
9 on the coolo-meter out of 10.
Think of it like a Hitman mission, a game that I've never
Actually,
played.
it's very similar to Hitman in a way. The gunplay is atrocious though, but everything else about
No,
it. Like,
the gunplay is the best part about it.
no, it's not. It's the worst
Uh,
fucking thing ever. It's awful.
No, it is. Well, no,
You're saying
because
that
it
ironically, aren't you?
Jake, it discourages you from just running and gunning.
No, I mean the gun impact of shooting is no. I'm not talking about it as an RPG. I'm talking it as literally when firing a gun. It is the most. It's like firing a whoopee cushion. It is the worst fucking thing.
I don't know. If you have a silencer on it, it feels good.
It's cool to take down units, but I'm saying is that the actual act of shooting, pulling out your gun and shooting it, because it's partially an RPG, just feels. It's just very.
Feels great.
Oh
I
my
know
god.
What you mean. Yes.
Whatever. Even like the biggest fans of Deus Ex.
That's because
just
Dean installed a
disagree
mod
completely.
where the gun makes Ganyu moans every time he shoots it.
Yeah, true. I could play some of that right now.
Is this all we're given for the greatest PC game of all time? Oh yeah, we should have put anime in it, and also I don't know what to say about it.
No, I mean it's great. I like how for every mission there are.
I like how every
at
mission's a
least
sandbox.
3 or 4. There are at least 3 or 4 ways to go through it.
Yeah.
Like, and then it like branches out or
Non-lead,
whatever.
you can go through the entire game without killing a single person.
Right.
You can go through the
Although-
entire game using like melee weapons. You can go through the entire game like just like completely invisible, like not being caught. You don't have to fight a single. Even the bosses, you can actually talk them out of fighting or have them or run away from
Bosses,
them.
Wait, what bosses?
The bosses that you fight. The
There are no bosses in Deus Ex.
yeah, there are.
Well, then you probably didn't fight them.
Yeah, he
because
did.
you,
He did. I don't want to spoil it for the audience. You know the
Oh.
Are you talking about the?
Yeah, I am. I
No,
am. You
this-
you think they're not
no.
bosses? They're people with larger health pools that are actually named. Yeah,
That's
those are
okay.
titles.
That
They're
I
not.
don't really count. That doesn't count as a boss to me. That's like
That's a boss.
that's
I mean,
just an
it's
NPC. That's like
that's
an NPC in the way that you can choose to kill or not.
Yeah, but they're significant to the story, and they're like super.
So how is
amped
that
up on
different
drugs.
from a? How is it different from a boss fight, like in a different game?
Because it's kind of shitty because like the enemy just kind of runs towards you and just hits you with like insane weapons. It's not like Far Cry where you can like jump on roofs and shoot them, or like Assassin's Creed where you can go on a roof and like just do anything other than just stand there and just taking bullets until one of you dies.
Jake, then that means that fucking Benny from New Vegas is a boss fight.
I guess so.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I guess you can
He is.
compare it to
The
that.
greatest boss of all time.
Yeah, it's because it's an RPG. There's not really. It's not really. It's a hardcore RPG. but it's not hardcore enough.
It's made by a Western company, therefore the boss fights are shitty.
No, because you can play D&D and the boss fights in there can be really good, as good as you make them. The problem is that it's just...
Well, that's not a video game, though.
Yeah, no. Jake's talking about games like Planescape and...
Yeah, like that. You can do turn-based, like, boss fights really well, like, if it's that hard of an RPG, like Dungeons and Dragons.
If it's a boss fight, it's usually some, like, wizard guy.
Even Knights of the Old Republic has
I guess I was thinking... I had this thought the other day that, like, are there any good Western action game boss fights?
There are plenty of them. They're just it's just hard to think of them because we just like the Japanese ones so much because they're just really cool.
I mean, maybe the God of War ones are pretty good.
Yeah, those are fine.
But I'm just thinking about like, because like every now and then you get reviewers who are like, "Can't we have enough of boss fights?" And then it's like, all they've played are like Arkham Asylum and shit, where the boss fights are dookie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that's just not a button combo like fucking masher. And it's hard. Like, I guess Doom...
Like, it's kind of crazy how many boss fights are, like a big, like, bull enemy that, like, charges, and then they, like, hit a wall, and then you shoot their asshole.
Doesn't Doom have, like, mini-bosses? Or Doom Eternal have, like, the Marauder and, like, the fucking...
Yeah, they have, like, mini-bosses.
Yeah, Doom Eternal had,
what was that? The Suffering...
Some of the DLCs had some cool...
had
some cool...
Icon of Sin, excuse me. There was one of those.
Yeah.
And that was in Doom 2, too, which some people liked. And then you fought Hitler in Wolfenstein, Mecha Hitler. You fought...
I played Wolfenstein. It's not a bad game at all.
Yeah, Wolfenstein 1, you fought Mecha Hitler. And then... Well, not Wolfenstein 1, but Wolfenstein 3D. And then you, And then you fought that giant mech in Wolfenstein New Order, which wasn't too bad.
Okay.
It was story significance.
For now.
Bethesda games, actually. Decent bosses for their, id games.
Hold up.
Well, Bethesda published, id Software made.
id Software, yeah. Except for Rage. Yeah. I don't know if Rage would...
I don't remember if Rage had any boss fights worth talking about.
No one remembers Rage.
Dean, check your DMs.
Don't. I guarantee you it's dick pics. Don't look at them. They'll turn you gay.
Joseph, what the fuck kind of question is this?
Fuck you! I'm fucking hungry. Get me fucking recommendations for my cheese and meat platter.
I'm trying to think of my favorite cheeses.
Think of a cheese. Name a cheese. Name a cheese cheddar.
To contextualize this, you motherfuckers.
I guess feta. I like feta a lot.
Everyone shut up. So,
no, I don't like feta. You know
God damn it. Shut up.
I don't know you don't like feta.
Alright, I guess we're not doing this in the podcast. We're not integrating this. So we're just gonna wait.
I like the cheese discussion.
I was gonna
integrate... Are there any closing thoughts on Deus Ex? I could snatch
No, I want that cheese recommendation, though.
Alright, can I talk about... I'll give you a cheese recommendation if you fucking let me integrate it into the podcast.
Okay,
so Joseph asked me 5 minutes to the... talking over me. Joseph asked, like, 5 minutes before the podcast starts, like, hey, Jake, I like those cheeses you had from Costco. Big sample platter of cheeses. Can you get that on Amazon? I'm like, yeah, sure. So now I guess he wants a cheese recommendation for, his salami sandwiches. Joseph, I would go with a Havarti cheese. I do not get feta.
How do you spell that?
I think it's H-A-V or J-A-V.
Found it.
Havarti cheese is very good. A good sharp cheddar is very nice.
I don't think Joseph likes sharp cheddar.
What's the no? What's that like at the Subway where you get American cheese? What's that?
It's called American
dog
cheese. It's not very good on. Actually, it's good on crackers if you have it, and even
American.
Yeah, I'm gonna get crackers.
Is booty.
Well, it depends on what kind of American cheese, because there's Kraft American Deluxe.
What kind of American? You got your North American, you got your South American.
Some fat stacks.
You got your American
Italiano imported.
Don't forget, Joseph, you like Swiss a lot. You actually are not a total. You're not a total bitch. You actually like Swiss, right? Get some Swiss in there. You can get those in the sampler.
I'm not finding it on Amazon though.
Yeah, so Joseph was asking me like what kind of cheese, and by the way, American cheese. There's different types because there's in terms of cheapness. So I would say like everyone like scoffs is like, oh, American cheese, it's basically plastic. Well, you got to get the good shit because that's cheese product you're thinking of. Kraft American cheese uses real cheese and it uses sodium citrate, so when you can get super melty. That's why it makes the best grilled cheese, the best mac and cheese, the best anything cheese that's super melty. Every other cheese, once you get it too hot, it starts to spray oil everywhere. And
Alright, well, I'm gonna send you a link, and I need you to approve of it.
Alright, well, I'll look into it after the podcast.
Right
okay?
now, on the double, because
I can't move from my bed, you asshole.
Alright, well, I'll send it to Dean.
Are you just making, like, charcuterie?
I want cheeses and meats, and I need it, like,
right
now.
It's gonna cut.
This episode is brought to you by the letter cheese.
It's brought to you by...
Yes, it's okay.
What's a good cheese company that's not Kraft? What's
not
that
Pepper
company?
You
Jack's
already
pretty good.
shilled for Kraft.
I got one
Sabarin.
We
organic
gotta get that Kraft sponsorship.
Can't remember what the fucking cheese was. It's usually just get your local deli cheese, honestly. Or get anything, if you're in, like, Illinois, like I am, get it from Wisconsin. They have, like, they have a big old fucking... We
like cheese so much we put it on our head.
Oh no, I
Literally.
found something that looks so good. Okay, Dean, I'll send you a link.
It's called stinky cheese.
Sharp
it's good.
cheddar cheese.
I already told you that.
Well,
Joseph, you wouldn't eat the sharp cheddar when we had charcuterie when you were over.
I ate some, yes.
No, you didn't. You didn't touch it at all. You said you don't like
You
cheddar.
ate it all before I could eat it!
Honey,
Alright,
we
well,
already
I'll
bought
try it
that. You
again.
didn't like it. No, I'll try it again,
Buy
really.
the cheese.
You only ate the Swiss and the French one. Whatever.
Joseph, if there's any cheese you don't want, just put it in an envelope and mail it to me. I'll eat U.S. Postal Service cheese.
Alright, and now for the meats. I have salami, but I don't think I have enough salami choices that are cheap. 'cause
Jesus Christ.
I bought
Get
one that
some,
looked expensive.
Get some prosciutto.
Alright, can we get back to the podcast, please? Can we do the cheese
This
later?
is the podcast.
Yeah, this is the podcast.
The Technical
People are
Miracle
hungry.
Cheese Cast. We've been on cheese for like a minute now. I gotta
The
cut all
ham and
this shit
cheese.
down.
Well, okay, well, you know,
Meat
people in
and
America are
cheese
fat. They can handle some more food talk.
You know what?
okay?
You know what? We're gonna put it to a poll. What is your favorite cheese in the comments right fucking now? Do it. I don't care if you're on the bus or at work. You can log into youtube.com. You go to the Technical Miracle YouTube page. You're probably already on it if you're listening to this podcast, and you click. Or you don't even click. You just type it in the comments because I ain't doing a poll for that. There's way too many cheeses out there.
Type
You
of
do that.
cheese
You do
Okay,
that.
and now,
cheese
okay, here's a link
in the
It's
comments
a-
for a chance to win a month's supply of U.S. Postal Service cheese mailed directly to your door. in
Disclaimer:
tiny
we are not
envelopes.
doing any kind of promotion.
no promotion.
All right.
Okay,
Moving
now,
on.
Act now.
I sent you a
Dean,
link to
Joseph,
diets-
seriously? Joseph, fucking seriously. I can't. Please. I don't have a lot of battery on these headsets.
Okay,
Please.
okay. We can
Please,
move
thank
on after. Just give me 10 seconds. Is that a good
9.
choice, Dean?
8.
Hold on. Wait.
Just don't get
wait,
feta.
wait,
You're not going to want that on your sandwiches.
No, it's a Diets and Watson antipasto platter. It's like prosciutto.
That's good.
and
That's a
stuff.
good
Yeah,
brand.
that's good.
That's a good brand.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we shall exit the cheese talk in 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, hold on.
Speaking of cheese, I've been playing
There we go.
a cheesy game.
Say that again. Sorry, that was a perfect intro. I was clapping during it.
Speaking of cheese, I've been playing a cheesy game.
What kind of game, man? That sounds... Sounds fun.
I've finished Resident Evil 8, and I have some thoughts.
Oh god, okay. I have not. I've gotten just past the Lady
I won't.
Dimitrice, whatever her name is,
Lady
castle.
D. Fun fact,
D's.
her daughters all have, like, first names, and it goes A, B, C, D. They all start with A, B, C, and D. Anyway, Resident Evil 8, I played it. I have mixed feelings.
Really? I have a lot of
It's-
interesting things to say, too. But go ahead.
It's very clearly aping Resident Evil 4, which is obviously, like, one of the best games ever made.
I agree.
And
But I think it does it better. Honestly.
it kind of does everything that 4 does, like, worse.
Ooh, okay.
Uh,
Now, I've only, like, 3-4 hours
Gameplay-wise,
in. You've actually
but
beaten
it's
it.
what's weird about it is, like, okay, I got to where you were. I beat the castle, and I was pretty down on the game, honestly.
Yeah,
I was
a little bit. Me too, a little bit.
And then I
feeling it.
kept playing, and shit gets better. They throw a lot of different shit at you. I was genuinely spooked by a section after where you're at in a way that I have not been spooked by a game since, like, playing Dead Space 2 as a tiny child. But to sort of explain what's not great, there are two kinds of Resident Evils. Resident Evils with item boxes and Resident Evils that don't have item boxes. And some of them that don't have item boxes, like Zero, basically have the same thing as an item box where you just drop the item on the floor.
Except Resident Evil Zero.
The point is, it's not good. Yeah. We all know.
Yeah.
Point is, Resident Evil 7 was an item box Resident Evil. Resident Evil 8 is a non-item box Resident Evil. Non-item box Resident Evils are action-oriented. They are encouraging you to kill every enemy you find, rather than just shoot them and run away. And are mainly aiming for, like, a different kind of tone and overall experience. And tone-wise and everything, like, it nails it. It's super fucking fun, and all kinds of goofy shit happens, and the characters are cool, and has some of the best boss fights in the series. But the core gameplay mechanics are dog water.
Really?
You can move and shoot at the same time, and therefore every enemy is defeated by you just backpedaling and shooting. There's no depth, there's no mechanics, it's just shoot the enemy until it dies, while backpedaling away from them as they kind of wiggle their way towards you. Compare this to Resident Evil 4. Where every enemy has different hit reactions depending on where you shoot them. If they're running and you shoot them in the leg, they'll fall over. If they're walking and you shoot them in the leg, they'll crouch down and you can do a melee attack on them. The whole melee attack mechanic system is completely gone from 8. Instead, it has the weird shitty block kept over from 7. The block is dumb. And then after you succeed in doing a block, you can mash the block button again to, like, kick them away from you. But it's a purely reactive mechanic. Like, it depends on what the enemy is doing to you. It doesn't depend on any of your agency. And it's just there so that you don't have to back up. Because in case you're backed into a wall, you can do that and you can create some space. Because the game would literally fall apart if you couldn't do that. The guns, the pistols feel weak, but everything else feels pretty good.
They do, honestly.
The enemies are really spongy. Again, partially because their hit reactions aren't the same. In 4, if you shot an enemy, they would always do something. Even if it was just a little flinch, they would always do something. And then what they did would impact, like, the gameplay. If you shot them in the arm and they dropped their weapon, like, that significantly changed their encounter. They could no longer throw that weapon at you. They couldn't, like, do their really quick melee attack with it. They'd have to do the slow grab, which is a lot easier to counter. In Resident Evil 4, you're always making a decision. You're either standing your ground and shooting, you're either retreating, or you're advancing to try and do an attack. And each one of those has its own, like, strengths and weaknesses, and it's all just really well thought out. And 8, gameplay-wise, feels like it is not well thought out. Playing the game on hardcore, miserable. The enemies are, like, 8 times spongier.
I'm so glad I didn't play it on the hard difficulty.
Yeah, don't play on hardcore. Honestly, okay. Don't play this game on hardcore.
Is there 3 difficulties, or is there a 4th when you unlock it, or...?
Yeah, you'll unlock another difficulty after you beat the game.
So I'm playing on normal, and I gotta say, regards to what you're saying, I'm kind of feeling the same way, but in the other direction. Personally, now I played Resident Evil 4 a long time ago. I beat it on PC. I think it's a great game. I think it's really fun, but as a Resident Evil game, it is not what I'm looking for. I like the dark corridors, I like the limited ammo, I like planning out the route in your head, I like the Metroidvania-esque elements, and I feel like what you're feeling about
Resident Evil.
Yeah. And I feel like Resident Evil 8 is not appeasing you, the Resident Evil 4 liker, or me, the Resident Evil 1 and 2 lover. You know what I mean? Like, when I say 2, I mean the remake of 2. I've not played the old version of 2, but I have played the remake of 1, which is the top-down, and that's actually one of my favorite One of my favorite games, actually, is the first Resident Evil game remastered. It's an amazing game. You know, you plan out your route, the pacing is perfect. But with 8, I was actually terrified when, you know, I had already pre-ordered this game because I needed something to play during my sickness. I heard last minute, one, they were changing how the horror works, and because 7 was too, in response to 7 being too scary, and 2, the enemies were dropping. What I heard was ammo, and I got terrified because as much as I enjoy Resident Evil 4 as a game, I hate the idea that you basically just have unlimited ammo as long as you're killing stuff. Yeah, it's limited because they can determine who drops what, but in general, you know, when you kill an enemy, you're getting ammo, whereas in the other games, the ammo is not in the enemy, it's in, like, the environment, and you have to...
And
you could fuck up your whole
limited.
playthrough. You could fuck up your whole playthrough. You can't really do that in 4. You can kind of try. Like, if you get to a boss with no ammo, that's one way of doing it, but I was, like, playing 8, and it's got some spooks. Like, for people who are worried that, like, it's not as good as 7, it's got some spooks there. It's good, but it's just not as strong as 7 is. In fact, it actually makes a lot of the same mistakes 7 does. It's way, way too linear, whereas, you know, Resident Evil 2, you have basically 4 ways of playing that game.
See, this is where, like, I get a little frustrated, because it's, like, it's weird to complain about a game not doing something it never intended to do in the first place. Like, it's not trying to be Resident Evil 1 or 2. That was what 7 was doing. It was basically being a first-person remake of those style games. And 8 is very clearly being, like, 4.
But it doesn't
the problem
work in
is
either
it's
direction.
just not a very good 4 clone.
And it's not really it's not a good throwback to, like, 7 or 1 or 2. It's like, it's this weird middle ground, and I think the linearity...
I mean, the first-person mechanics, like, you can have shitty combat in Resident Evil's, like, 1 and 2 and stuff like that. Like, I would not... If you played Resident Evil 2 Remake by killing every zombie, I pity you. You probably had a shitty time, because the combat in that game is not something that you're supposed to, like, you know, delve into. It is a means to an end.
Honest
You're
to
trying
God,
to shoot the zombie
Resident
in the
Evil
head
2
so that it falls over, and you can run past it.
Honest to God, the Resident Evil 2 gunplay is actually, in the remake, is actually a step back from the original. The original had better music, and, like, amazing physics. Like, when you shot a zombie, it would just fly everywhere. Like, pieces of it just chunked out. It was incredible. Incredible, like, feat of fucking game development, and then you just have this whatever game.
Actually, 2 has some of the most, like, 2 Remake has some of the most, like, technically impressive gore effects.
Oh, the gore is amazing in that game, and it does have some great hit reactions, but, I don't know, the gunplay is just not quite as good. It's good once you get, you know, some of the better weapons, like the shotgun and the grenade launcher, and, like, you're having fun blasting through enemies. That's fun, but, like, pistol to zombie head is not... It's not great. Again, you're using it to stun the zombie, not to kill.
Was the last Resident Evil 7?
No, that was 8.
That was the last mainline one. The last one that they made was the Resident Evil 3 remake. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I think I played Resident Evil 7, and
it
was
you're right.
pretty scary and gory.
Oh yeah, I got
I'm not a big fan of gore that much, or jump scares, because I'm pretty sure there were a lot of jump scares.
Yeah, the weird comparison between 7 and 8, and, like, people saying that, like, 8 was based on feedback that 7 was too scary, is kind of, it feels like a lie, because, the second part of, the second, like,
the
chapter,
part I'm about to get
8,
to, I've
is,
already
like,
kind of experienced
genuinely,
it.
like, poopy my pants, like, no. I genuinely, like, I paused and I, like, took a break. I like, set the game down for a while. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, I think I know exactly. I literally just started it. I'm about to, like, I just started the second,
the dollhouse.
You know, yeah. And then I thought you were talking about another area, which is, maybe you're talking about the same thing. There's a monster that comes out of the shadows, like, very slowly. Like, there's no scare sound. It's like, it just kind of emerges from the shadows, and it's this fucking homunculus, and you just...
Yeah.
Just, like,
no, I saw, like, a glimpse of that thing emerging from the shadows, and I just, like, ah!
Oh, is that the same thing we're talking about?
Yes, that thing.
Okay.
Made me poop.
I already saw a GIF of that online, so it's already ruined for me. Nah, that sucks.
But it looks so good in HDR. and just everything. It was just perfect the way it emerged out. And yeah, the whole concept itself is just, like, this game has really good, like, just appealing concepts of horror. Like, they're based on sort of classic universal monsters, like the, you know, Creature from the Black Lagoon, vampires.
Oh yeah, I love the American horror inspiration that 7 and 8 are doing. It's great. It's really...
Well, see,
like,
this
really
is something that I think it did better than 7, because 7, the molded, are just, like, weird, chunky poop monsters.
It's the same
and then
enemy.
half that game takes place in a cool mansion, and then the other half takes place in a big-ass boat.
That's the problem with 7, and honestly, is that, like, you know, like, I was just complaining about linearity. Linearity is fine if you can do it long enough without boring the player, and the problem is with 7 is that once you get to the second part of that game, I didn't notice it like other people did, but I gotta say, there's a quality decline. And then that final boss fight is fucking... It's not even a boss fight. It's like, it's a cutscene, you click one button, and then you win. And I was saving up, like, dude, like, I was getting, like, this giant ammo boner. I was, like, saving up every shot. I was running through all the models, like, I'm not gonna waste a single shot. I have so many shotgun shells, so many... Oh my god, I'm just getting hard thinking about it. I'm gonna destroy this motherfucker. I get to the final boss. Nope, just one. You just get a gun and then shoot her at once. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, the final boss in 8 is good. That's all I'll say.
God, the DLC.
It's a real fight. Too. It's a real fight too. It's not just like a cutscene QTE thing. But yeah, like, the characters are memorable. The different villains all have their own, like, little shit going on. There's this great scene early on where all 4 of them are in a room together, and you get to kind of see them interact. And, like, the Magneto Heisenberg guy is, like, talking shit to the giant vampire lady. Yeah. And, like, even her, like, see, that was part of the thing I was frustrated with, is that she's a really cool character, and there are moments in that castle, like, where you find her gigantic bathtub, or you find other shit, and it's, like, weirdly uncanny, because it's, like, a giant person in, like, a normal-sized mansion.
Like a 9-foot
and that's, like, really unnerving. But the thing that broke it for me is, like, Mr. X from Resident Evil 2. You could kind of believe that he was smarter than a zombie, but not very smart, right? He was still kind of just like a dumb brute.
He was like a mind
chase you around.
I think he was like actually remotely controlled in the lore. He's like a remotely controlled
he's,
like robot.
He's sort of like that. But, like, he doesn't, like, talk or anything, so you can assume he's not very intelligent. There was a moment where Lady D walked into a room and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you, you motherfucker. You fucking murdered my daughters. I'm gonna fucking rip you apart." And then she fucking turned around and left. And I was, like, on the staircase next to her, and I'm like, what?
Her AI is not very good. I got trapped in between of her and a piece of furniture, which would never happen with Mr. X because he knocks you away. She just slices you, so, like, she's just kind of there, and she's just, like, 10 seconds it takes her to hit me, and then she's able to knock me out. You know, I lose health items, but the game is a lot easier, so it wasn't a big deal. And you can also buy ammo in this game, which, all credit to Resident Evil 4, you couldn't buy ammo in that game. In this game, you can. I think and it's not as bad, because it's limited, it's finite, what you can buy, and it's fine. Right. You know, the enemies don't drop ammo, they drop scraps, but it's just... I just feel like they're going back to RE4, and I don't want them to do that. I know you like RE4, I like RE4, but I don't want another franchise going back to that action genre, where they're going away from, like, the tense horror, the fucking fun.
I could go with either one, but if you're gonna do the action horror thing, just do it well. Like, you mentioned linearity. The linearity in Resident Evil 4 is in, like, the level design. And where you actually get choice is in the combat, which is why, like, the mercenary mode exists. Because the Resident Evil 4 combat model is so good, you can just lock the character in a fucking room with infinite spawning enemies, and you're gonna have a fun time.
Yeah, that's what 5 capitalized
the linearity in 8 is the combat. There's no decision to make other than just backing up and shooting them.
And even that's not that fun, because, like, it's like, what, we've done the first person stuff before. We've already done, you know, the antiquated shotgun. We've already done the pistol. It all feels the goddamn same. Give me a different weapon. Like, it's like, I've gotten the sniper rifle before. I've already done all this. Can you give me a new weapon? Can you give me how about something more supernatural? Fuck it. Make it like one of those weird old school shooters like Doom or Or fucking, like, I don't know, Quake, when you get some weird-ass gun. I don't know. We don't... It's frustrating.
So, it's... Overall, like, my impression of 8 is good. It's just...
Yeah.
It's weird because the foundation that it's built on is just really limited and flawed. But
I'm glad it gets better
they managed to build around that is still really fun. There's, like, lots of great shit to, like, find and play. And I just think maybe it's one of those things that won't age well or won't be very good on replay.
No, I have a feeling it's going to be the worst on replay, because that castle, that lady, what's her name castle, it was fun, but it was just barely fun enough, and there's like a whole bunch of cutscenes at the beginning. 7 was very short. It had that, it was not very replayable, especially because like there wasn't really much of a, you had like a second ending, but there wasn't much to it. But it's just, I feel 8's going to be a lot worse, and that's what I'm worried about, because I like when Resident Evil is non-linear and you have a ton of options and like you can play it over and over again. Like Resident Evil 2 Remake, I've played, it's a 6-hour long game, but I have over 30 hours in it because you can play it so many times because it just lets you go and do it again and again. And you got multiple, and the endings are not as, complex or different as the original game, but it's still fun. For a modern game, it's pretty good. My game of the year when it came out, 2019, I believe. Well.
So at what point in the game do you get your balls crushed?
Let's see. It's somewhere between...
You almost... they do put
chapters
like a fucking...
3 and 4. The final boss, named Dr. Mommy Milkies, comes out and says, Ethan Winters, your balls will not exist on this earth any longer.
No, Noah, she comes out and says, you're so cute, and you go, thanks, and she goes, can I crush your balls? And you go, yeah!
I don't think you sorry, it's less of a thanks and more of a thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks. I fucking love the way that guy says things.
Oh my god, yeah, I saw you liking that and posting that shit. Joseph, how about you're clearly bored and not part of the conversation. How about we both bring our last one in? We both talk about our game at the same time. That way we'll round up the podcast even faster. We'll talk about what we've been playing, which is WoW Classic.
World of Warcraft Classic, man!
So let's talk about the most keyno, comfiest, greatest game to ever be put on a computer.
Oh, it is
That's
so
right.
fun.
Guild Wars 2.
Alright, now you can blow your brains out. Anyways.
More like
World of
Horror
Warcraft,
Wars 2.
World of
What,
Warcraft
there's no subscription?
Classic.
No premium Chad subscription for your game? What are you, poor?
Yeah, no subscription.
Yeah, you're a poor person, loser.
Yeah.
No, you're just being scammed out of money for no reason.
No microtransactions except for all the microtransactions.
Yeah, you can enjoy your welfare wars too. We'll be playing
every
the Chad
microtransaction in Guild Wars 2 is purely cosmetic.
Okay.
No, that's not even true at all. Fuck you.
What are you talking about?
You can expand your inventories and shit.
Oh, that is true, actually.
Yeah, and
So you
I wasn't just trying to
But
buy like
I've-
Legend.
Anyways, let's talk
I've been
about.
playing since 2013. I've never used those.
live on the podcast.
Let's talk about
I've
the
never used those. I've been
honorable
playing
game,
since 2013. so-
World of Warcraft Classic, where I go around demanding respect from Horde, or if they do not wave or bow down to me, they get executed.
Okay, so let me explain what's been going on with WoW Classic. So
Isn't WoW Classic like old news from like
so
a year
so
ago
here's
now?
here's the dealio. Here's the dealio. What's been going on?
How dare you?
What is WoW Classic for the 8 people? Well, it's a game that Blizzard decided that retail WoW is garbage. So they decided, hey, why don't we just release the old WoW content in waves, so that people can shut up and not go to private servers and actually pay us to host them. So we're doing all this old content now, where everyone's having a lot of fun. There's big community groups, but there's problems with it. There's always been problems because our computers are better, our skills are better. A lot of people, for WoW was their first fucking game, not just their first MMO. So everyone's gotten a lot better at it. So they're able to clear content faster, And there's an uproar in the community because people wanted no changes from Blizzard, and the problem is that, well, the community has changed, so it's not going to be the same experience. So what they've decided to do in their infinite wisdom is they've begun releasing the next expansion for Classic. So that's the second expansion that ever came out for WoW. That's called Burning Crusade. And what they're doing for this is they're adding level boosting, which is kind of controversial. There's only one per account. You can only do it one time for one character. But it is... A lot of people are not actually as mad about that, but I have a feeling a lot of them are retail players that were jealous that they hated the game and they didn't give it a chance. But Joseph bought a level boost, because he got impatient because, people were using it, and there was not a whole lot of people to play in the old world, although that's changed now that the game is launching the expansion. There's a huge player base now. But,
Shitty game.
Shut up. It's now big. It's popular again.
It's popular.
Oh my god, Dean. I hope you die. Okay, a lot of people are playing it right now, actually.
You tell him, Dean.
It's got a massive population boost because it's the pre-expansion launch pad. It's a big time. So Joseph level boosted his character. Well, I understand that because it can be aggravating. So he level boosted, and he's actually having more fun with it now because he's ganking Horde, pulling mobs in dungeons if people are pissing him off and killing his entire team. And, more importantly, he's playing the stock market. So he's playing the auction house. He is farming. He has gold on lockdown. He is doing professional level.
Alpha
He's doing all kinds of shit.
Mage.
So even though he's skipped most of the game, he's still having a blast. Good on him if he's enjoying it. I'm still leveling. I'm level 52. I had a level 40. Our groups have broken up and come back together multiple times, so I have a bunch of characters that are just not finished, but I'm finally getting this one done. Level 52 Holy Pally, and we were just playing with our good friend Avery in the Burning Steppes. That is a level 50 zone, and he is level 14. So we brought a level 14 character to a level 50 zone, and me and Joseph for the last 2 hours today were playing with him. Joseph, why don't you talk about what we were doing down there?
Well, allow me to explain what we were doing. We were busy protecting him from scorpions and other shit that just seemed to be really attracted to him.
When you go into a level 50 zone, a level 14 will pull anything within a 30-yard radius because it's the aggro range. So we're just walking and I see a mob of scorpions coming right towards Avery, and he's just screaming his fucking head off in chat.
And there's also enemy horde members in the area.
Skulking around.
So, yeah, and so I chased them down and beat them into the ground.
Because Joseph's playing an overpowered mage. I'm playing a holy paladin. Avery's playing a shitty level 14 warrior. He's a good sport about it. I need to do quests. Joseph's carrying me, and we're like, hey, why don't we bring Avery along because he can still get XP from these monsters if we kill them for him. So it is a lot of fun. We are finding a lot of ways to play that. Retail lets you play at any level basically. You're like, oh, I'm level 70, he's level 30. We can join a group, and then it'll scale the enemies and the XP between us. And, it's great for that. You can play between different realms. Classic, well, you can't do all that, but you can find a way to make it work. And we were having a lot of fucking fun. Just murdering Horde. Joseph almost got the group killed several times because I was like, Joseph, don't kill that guy. And
yeah, because it's an area where there's multiple enemies.
You'd be
tons
attacked
of
at any
PvP.
time.
And luckily, I scared him away. I'm just such a Chad. I'm just so great at the game.
And then the guy ran into his level 60 hunter friend that started just fucking blasting us. If it wasn't for me, Joseph would have been fucking dead, and I told him not to fight that guy.
Well, they were also killing all the Alliance members on site. They always do it in that area, usually in front of dungeons.
Well, don't Alliance members like you do it in front of them too? So, aren't you no different?
Not as much, really.
I doubt that. I mean, are Horde players more aggressive? Maybe. They play orcs and trolls and shit and undead. And we play little gnomes and dwarves and humans. And little elves.
Because usually people are just too eager to get into the dungeon.
That's my favorite faction. I always pick gnome or dwarf, honestly.
Dean, what kind of Chad races can you play in Guild Wars 2?
Oh, don't get him started.
I just heard the magic words. I was watching a video in the background. What?
fuck?
I said, what kind of Chad races can you play in Guild Wars 2?
Okay, we got the Char,
You got
which
the
are
Char, oh my god.
The
which are like
Chode,
a
yeah.
What are
big
the Char?
cat
What are the Char?
beast race.
They're rip-off
okay,
Tauren.
so they're furries. Got it.
The
Yeah,
rip-off
but
Tauren.
very based furries.
Except not as
Very
Uh,
big, muscular, gigantic cock furries.
Exactly.
They're like
And then we have
bull
the Asura,
buffalo.
which are little tiny. They look like alien people with big ears or whatever. We have the Norn, which are just like bigger snow people.
Okay.
Not
snow
that
people.
interesting. And then we have the
Uh-huh.
Salvari, which are plant people,
Oh.
Tree hippies.
and they are
Plants.
sort of like a hive mind consciousness.
I
type
will
thing.
give Dean credit. The races in Guild Wars 2 are very, very interesting, very cool looking. That's partly due to the age of
And
both
we
games.
we can't forget the racism between them, which is fantastic.
Oh yeah, you don't get a lot of that in WoW. No, not until the later expansions, honestly.
Yeah, like there's actual race wars. In Guild Wars 2.
Race wars on, everybody! Race war.
Race Wars 2 is what it should be called, probably. But yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
didn't,
that doesn't sound very good.
Didn't they get a bunch
Shut
of
the fuck up,
weirdo,
Joseph.
like, really just... I hesitate to say the words, the three-letter word, starting with an S, ending with a W. Very diverse writers about the refugee story arc in Guild Wars 2.
Oh, okay. So the
I hear they fired most of those people and got one of the main guys back on.
The Crystal Desert, the Path of Fire expansion, where they go to the
Crystal
the
Desert,
basically
refugees.
with the sand people.
I wonder what they're talking about.
Well, yeah, there was there were a bunch of refugees because Crocodoric had awoken.
Shut up, Dean. There was a bunch of refugees because it was happening on in real life and because of fucking ISIS. We're not talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no one cares about the stupid Guild Wars
that's
lore.
That's the parallel, but you know.
That's the parallel.
Yeah, fucking Joseph over here, just ears perked up. I'm sorry, there's an ISIS faction? Where do I sign up?
We actually have a guild that we're building in World of Warcraft called the Nicest ISIS.
Oh, there you go.
Pretty good. Joseph came out with that, I think. Did he? Yeah, he came up with that.
We are all coming up with shit together, and I think we eventually agreed on it.
It was a hive mind decision.
Yeah. We're like, yeah, we should name it ISIS something, or about
So
fucking
isn't
bombing
like,
people.
aren't they gonna do Burning Crusade WoW Classic?
Yeah, that's actually what is. So this is the pre-launch event we're in. So in about 3 days,
they're
actually, the Burning
so they're just
Crusade
trying to
will be
sell
released.
you
No.
all the old expansions back again?
No.
Yes,
You do not.
Yes, Steve. That is
Oh my
exactly
God.
what is happening. Time is a flat circle, so 10 years from now, they're gonna be like, yo, Mists of Pandaria Classic just dropped. Get in this shit,
You
dude.
do not pay for WoW Classic. You do not pay for Burning Crusade. It is entirely free with your subscription.
Mhm.
And I always said, yeah, fuck
You just get the microchip installed in you by Activision Blizzard and Huawei. And
You know what? It's a lot better
As my
than
uncle calls them, hooey.
Guild Wars 2. Boring ass game.
You're just mad because I didn't play with you.
No, I'm mad because you made me watch through even one of those cutscenes.
Well,
It's like a whole fucking movie.
if you just
It was not like
watched
you
it and
died.
paid attention, it wouldn't
I
be a
shouldn't
chore.
have to click skip 18 times per fucking mission. I should just click it once. In fact, I should have it in the options.
Yeah.
Where I
Well,
select
you
no,
fucking-
and then
you
it skips
fucking
all the
boosted.
cutscenes.
You fucking boosted anyway, you asshole.
Didn't you guys?
That way it wouldn't
so,
see it.
wait,
I guess you
wait,
don't
wait,
need
no,
to
you're gonna
level
love this.
anymore.
No, you're gonna love this. So, Joseph, when you were so Dean started playing WoW with me like ages ago, and he got burned because he paid for a 6-month subscription, but we only played for one of those months because we happened to play
I
during
hated it.
Warlords of Draenor. No, you liked it, but then you were bitter about it because we didn't play with you. We also happened to play during the worst expansion.
No,
which is Warlords of Draenor.
I got to like level 30 or something, and I'm like, this is fucking boring.
Okay.
And I stopped because it's
Okay.
just killing.
Anyway.
It's just fucking mindlessly killing.
So
enemies.
I show him the Angry Joe
That's
review.
Guild Wars 2.
I show him the Angry Joe review for Guild Wars 2, and he's like, "Okay, let me get on this," because I actually played Guild Wars 2 before he did. So Noah, he's like, "Oh, I gotta get Joseph in on it," and Joseph's obviously takes that. It is typical humor, and then Joseph, he's playing Guild Wars 2, and Guild Wars 2 is a very story-intensive game. WoW is story, but it's all in reading. You read a quest. and you get like that like hit of adventure.
And you don't have to read the quest. You can just spam accept like I do.
Yeah. So hold on. Let me set this up, boys. Let me set this up. So while you go in, like, in the later expansions, they start in 2008 with Lich King. They started like, okay, we're gonna have more voices in these little quests. We're gonna have little tidbits of lore. We're gonna have these little cinematic little sequences. But they didn't start putting in more and more cutscenes until later, and they started adding more voice acting. Guild Wars 2, from the start...
Guild Wars 2 in the opposite direction. It was all cutscenes at the beginning at launch. And now they tell you the story, like, as you're walking through the mission. Like,
so, what's happening with Guild Wars 2 is that, Dean gets Joseph to, play Guild Wars 2 with him. And Joseph, of course, because he has no attention span, is skipping through cutscenes, right? And Dean doesn't like that, because Dean's saying the whole game is in those cutscenes.
Because it's cutscene,
we should also say...
Cutscene,
listen, wait, stop. We should also say, let me just mention, that at this point, when I had finally gotten Joseph to start playing, I had already been playing for years, and all my shit was maxed out, and I really had no reason. Like, I had all my character slots were all level 80.
Yeah, no.
So
I'm not.
I had no reason to fucking.
I'm trying to make Noah laugh here. It's cool. Listen, it's fine. That's fine. So,
and I offered for myself to go out and buy that expensive gear online, so I wouldn't have to work for it. And you start freaking out.
Because you're supposed to fucking learn to play the game.
I don't want to learn to play the game. If it includes watching one cutscene.
Joseph, the leveling is just to learn the game.
It always turns into this. It always devolves into this.
I learned the game. It's easy. You click a button and you do something.
You didn't have any of your fucking skills yet.
And what's the problem?
It's not complicated. Let me finish my thought. I'm sorry. I'm taking up a lot of time here, but let me just finish. Noah, are you still there? Are you listening? Okay. So, Joseph is finally convinced to play Guild Wars 2, and he starts skipping everything, and it's driving Dean nuts. So at one point, Dean's like, Joseph, Dean starts quizzing Joseph on the cutscenes, so that Joseph will have to fucking prove whether or not he saw. Because Joseph starts lying and saying, "Oh yeah, I saw the cutscene," and Dean's like, "Really? So what happened?" And then like Joseph is now forced
I watched 10
10
to 15 seconds of each cutscene before skipping it. I said, "Did you skip it?" I'm like, "No, I saw the whole cutscene." It's all right. What happened in it? Well, these two people were talking, and then something happened. There was a fight. I don't know, because I genuinely didn't know. Even when I watched the full cutscene, I don't know, because it's boring. Boring.
Well, anyway, I'm pretty sure I stopped giving a shit at one point, and then we actually started doing like level 80 stuff. But then, because I don't.
And then WoW Classic came out.
I like to play. I get burnt down on games really quickly, so I refuse to play Guild Wars 2 until the expansion comes out.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, I'm setting up thing. Okay.
No, I know, but you said you burn out on games really quickly. What the hell are you talking
about?
You
don't. That's a lie.
I burn out on games very quickly.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You've been playing Genshin Impact for a long time.
I log on to Genshin Impact for maybe 30 minutes.
That's dailies, that's a little different. I'm talking about like fucking, 80 hours of fucking Morrowind in a month or something.
Yeah, and then I burnt out on it. I never finished Morrowind. I haven't touched it in like a couple months. I'm burnt out on it. Anyway. So I did not want to touch Guild Wars 2 until the new expansion came out. So I sort of stopped playing with Joseph. And then basically what Joseph did was he just repeated playing the same maps over and over again, just the ones that I happened to show him, and he never actually decided to
lost
explore
without your guidance,
other areas of the game on his own.
He's lost without your guidance.
I have to hold his hand, walk him to a location, and you go, okay, here, you have to play here for I guess forever. Since you're not gonna look for any other areas.
Which
in the
is
game
really
to play.
funny because in WoW Classic he's going on his own. He's going to fucking Fellwood, which is this crazy location. He's mining his own fucking cloth for special bags he's gonna resell in the auction house.
Maybe when he levels himself up to 80 to max level, alright, and I have to take him to this new area, he has no reference.
Dean, it's an MMO. You gotta play in a group. You gotta play with strangers. You gotta play with someone. And you know what?
I played entirely by myself.
Well, because you're a lonely virgin boy. Now shut up and let the fucking men talk. We like to play with other people because it's an MMO, and that's where you can have a lot of fun. And WoW, it's all about the community, okay? I'm not talking about fun with friends, because that's a retarded argument. I'm talking about fun with strangers,
it's a shit
fun
game,
with groups.
But you just like...
Motherfucker, it's an MMO! It is a massive multiplayer online game. Of course you play it in a fucking group.
You need people in Guild Wars 2, but the Guild Wars 2 is a good game on its own. So you don't actually...
Fine.
You don't actually need
I think WoW is a
people to
good
play
game on its own, because it's super kino, and the environments are awesome, and it's super nice, and the music is great, and some of the quests, because you got that quiet time to read, is great. What?
Then why don't you play it by yourself?
I do. I played it till level fucking 40 by myself, and that was like 6 days or 5 days, okay, of time. That's like around 100 hours, okay. But eventually you're like, okay, I need help with these elite quests. I need help with this. Oh man, wouldn't that be cool if I could do a dungeon? That would be so much fun to have a cool group of people.
Yeah, so fucking queue up with randoms. Why do you need friends?
Because WoW is a game I'm so familiar with.
Because you have better
I know where
coordination
everything
with
is.
friends.
It's better if you get a group in Guild Wars 2 and you learn with them that way. And sometimes you just don't see anyone, or the content's so easy. Because in Classic WoW, there's shit I genuinely can't do.
Only the overworld content is easy. Fractals are difficult.
I don't know what fractals are.
Fractals are dungeons.
How do I start a dungeon? How do I start a dungeon, Dean?
fucking mook.
Do I queue for it? Do I go to the dungeon?
Yeah, of course you fucking queue for it. It's a dungeon.
I don't know what that button is.
No, it's a fractal!
Look, okay, because Guild Wars 2 has fractals and dungeons.
Oh.
Dungeons are supposed to...
But you just said fractals are dungeons!
Listen.
They are dungeons.
Basically...
You just said they are
It doesn't make
dungeons.
any sense!
They're
You don't know
dungeons
what you're talking
in
about,
your
Dean.
understanding of the word dungeon. Okay?
Well, then you just told us they're dungeons, and then you said they're also dungeons.
It's fine, Joseph.
Look.
Don't
There's
argue
two
with
things.
that.
Okay.
They're
Let's not
dungeons. What's
argue.
not to understand?
Listen, just shut the fuck up. Everyone shut the fuck up. Let me explain.
Let's not argue semantics.
Guild Wars 2,
He's
initially,
kind of right.
fractals were not always in the game. Guild Wars 2 had a set of 8 dungeons, which they called
It
dungeons.
used to be a PvP
okay?
game.
They were locations in the
Wait.
overworld where you can go to initiate
This is
a
the
fucking
sandbag
dungeon
for
mission,
Guild
whatever,
Wars 2
right?
hour.
But
Pretty good.
and they were more story oriented, but they for some reason they kind of flopped, okay? And then they introduced fractals, which is basically what is the standard dungeon.
Part of the problem
So
is that
what
Guild
you're
Wars
saying
2 was
is they
launched as a
released
P-
this
yeah.
content and people were like, no, this is missing something. And then they released the same content and called it fractals.
No, it's not.
And everyone
it's not
said
the same.
yes.
That's
She's
really
got a new
different
hat.
to
It's a
me.
little. It's a
It's
little.
not different at all. It's literally not different
Joseph,
at all.
shut up. Okay,
well, you
now
haven't
Joseph
done
is
it
just
even,
fucking with
Joseph,
that.
because you suck so bad that we
Because
can't
you haven't
even clear
shown
it.
me any of them.
No, Joseph, maybe it's because you didn't play. You didn't level. Okay, so you don't know how to play the game. so
Hey,
you
Dean,
suck.
show me around. What's good in this game? Oh, there's nothing good in this game.
Joseph,
I'm getting off
at-
for
I'm
8
at the
months
point.
till the new
I'm at the
expansion.
point. Listen, I'm at the point.
That's
where
actually how it
I
goes.
did show you. I showed you. Oh yeah. Okay. I said. Oh yeah. Okay.
You
I'm gonna
played
take
with
you to
him for a
Silverways.
couple hours,
Oh,
and
look,
then you just let him
here,
to his own
we're at the
devices.
fucking
He wanted to
Silverways.
play with
Let's-
you. He wanted
and
to play
we
with
played
you.
it once, and then you're like, oh, okay, hold on. I want to keep playing on this. And I'm like, okay, sure. And then you just did it over and over and over again, which is basically what people do to grind
Dean.
for gear,
Hey,
right?
Dean. Hey, Dean.
And then you never
Dean.
went to a single other map
Hey, Dean.
or asked me.
Hey, Dean.
What, Jake?
Cope.
No. I refuse.
Cope.
I refuse.
Hey, Dean, show me something fun in this game. There's nothing fun. By the way, I played this for 3 years straight, so I'm actually
Dean,
going to wait till the expansion.
Why would
Goodbye.
you tell Joseph there's nothing fun in the game if you wanted him to find something fun? Why would you say that?
I showed him to the Silverways. And
Here's
then
a
he wanted to-
jumping
stop
puzzle.
gaslighting.
Here's a puzzle. You
I
like
didn't- I
puzzles,
didn't- no,
Joseph?
Joseph, I showed you the Silverways, and then you continued to play on that by
You
yourself.
forced me to do puzzles and shit.
I didn't force you to do anything. You played
forced
the
me.
game on your
You got
own.
me saying, nope, you gotta do the puzzle.
No.
This is part of
While
the
I
game.
was not,
You
Joseph,
gotta watch
while
the
I was, shut
cutscene.
the
You
fuck
gotta
up.
do this.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. While I was not even playing with you, you logged on your own to go and farm the Silverways.
See, this
But-
is what...
I forced you to
This is
take
the
me there. I
difference
forced you.
between
No,
You didn't even want to
no,
take
you
me
didn't.
there.
Two
You
player.
don't want to take me
No,
there.
I
the WoW
voluntarily
player,
took
the
you
Guild
there
Wars
because
2
you
player.
Joseph, I only.
Argue
The only reason I didn't want to take you there
about
first
how
is because you weren't.
everyone else is playing the game wrong. but the WoW player talks about how great his game is.
Hey, Jake.
And he even enjoys Guild Wars 2.
Hey, Jake.
That's me. But Dean
were you pissed off when he... Jake, were you pissed off when he boosted? Because I think you were.
I was at first, but then I realized...
Right, exactly.
Oh,
well, he did the exact same thing.
This is different. This is very different. Hold on. This is very different. Because when he boosted... First off, he was getting frustrated. He did it, like, in the fucking moment. And that's why I was getting pissed at him. Because he did it for a very dumb reason. Alright? If he thought about
he did it for a dumb reason.
No, listen. No, listen. He boosted because he was trying to get the stupid dragon mount from the fucking boost rewards. He was going to wait on the boost, but he was getting frustrated, so he decided to boost, and I told him not to. That's where I got frustrated. The other reason why I did... He boosted
to get mounts in Guild Wars 2 as well.
Hold on. There's more to it. In World of Warcraft, the problem is there's a limited amount of servers and players, so when that boost came out, everyone was already boosting, so there was less people in the overworld. Of course, 3 days later, if he had just waited, there was a massive population boom in WoW, but when that boost came out, everyone was boosting, and no one was in those lower level zones. So it was causing a lot of problems. So I don't blame Joseph.
No, it was still kind of empty in the zones that I boosted at.
Yeah, even now, it's like it's gotten worse. Now, if they're in like the 40s or 50s, it's pretty good because a lot of players.
It was already a problem.
Well, no, Joseph. Again, what happened was that a lot of players started leveling up the new races, which are the Draenei and Blood Elves, and they have to power level them. So they only have a month to do that. So they've been doing that for the last, well, I guess 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I've been seeing them everywhere. So we did get an injection of new blood in these old areas, but it's limited. So I am upset with Blizzard for doing that, but it's very different what you're talking about. I don't know the situation of Guild Wars 2's like player base and how it works, but WoW Classic is a highly community driven game, even for the single player content. You need groups to tackle elite quests. You need groups to do all kinds of shit.
Yeah, and I asked Dean, what's a good way to farm gold? What's a good way to do this?
Yeah, and
He's like, well, that's the high level stuff.
Oh,
and I had to beg him to take me to Silver Waste. A lot of begging, and he eventually took me there.
Hey, Jake, can you farm gold significantly in WoW if you're not max level?
If you're
not significantly, but
mage,
if you know what you're doing, you can get a lot.
It's like grinding is not really something that should be an issue while you're trying to level up your character. Grinding is something that you're supposed to do.
I never said it was.
At the end when you're trying to min-max.
Yeah, it is at the end, but you don't need to grind in WoW to do... Like, I never grind in WoW until max level.
Jake, exactly.
Okay.
You don't need to grind while you're leveling, which is what I was trying to tell... Which is what I was trying to tell Joseph. Joseph just wanted to get rich quick. That's all he wanted.
Yeah, no, Dean, you're right. If you're doing anything other than quests, if it's not a good game, if you have to do a bunch of grinding for you need 40 leather and level 55 to progress to this area. And it's like, okay, well, leveling 55, that's fine, but I gotta get my leathering profession up? Like, you can work on that anytime you want to, and that'll be for, getting gold. But you don't need... You can get all the gold you need to, it's when you get to the max level for raiding, that's when you need your professions, that's when you need...
Guild Wars 2 has basically zero grind from level 1 to level 80.
Well, same thing with WoW.
Yeah,
some people will say there's grind, but there
Guild Wars 2 goes, you don't have to grind at all
until
you're level 80. And then when you're level 80, you still don't really have to grind, but if you want legendaries, which is if
you want to have fun
in the game.
All right,
that's how all this started. Joseph just wanted legendaries, so he threatened to buy them.
We're going off into the weeds here. Can we switch it up? Let's look. We're going off into the weed here. I want to actually hear Noah's thoughts on what he thinks about some of these MMOs. Noah, between us arguing, which one would you rather play?
None. All MMOs are gay, and I wouldn't touch them with a 99.5-foot pole.
Let's talk about this. Noah doesn't like MMOs. Now I'm thinking Noah has. It's like girls. Noah hasn't found the right one yet. All right, it's like a nice lady. You gotta find.
It's also like girls because I haven't had one yet either.
I just think Noah's a faggot.
Well,
Noah is unironically right though. MMOs in general are pretty shit.
They are.
I will say that my nostalgia.
Yeah, it's just a game that you can play for hours and hours and hours, like potato chips.
I will say that it depends on the experience. I'd say that if it's a lot of the MMO and RPGs are elements like in an MMORPG are really strong. I think it could be potentially better than some other games. But you're right. It's partly because of how the netcode has worked for the last 15 years.
We're arguing between sour cream and onion and barbecue Lay's chips right now.
Yeah. And
with barbecue being
problem,
superior.
The big problem with MMOs
sour cream and onion is
onion
fucking way better.
Sour cream and
sour cream and onion is not better. It's all right. Barbecue is A tier.
Barbecue.
Sour cream
Lay's
is B tier.
Are like so fucking bland.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, your first mistake is getting Lay's. Like, let's admit that right
yeah,
out the
fucking.
gate.
No, Lay's is good. Fuck yourself.
Lay's is garbage.
Oh my god.
Lay's is like actually the worst.
Undippable
Lay's
chips.
is genuine trash.
Undippable. They're fine. But they're the most
Ruffles
junkiest of junk food chips. There's like you can get Jay's chips, which are way better in Illinois. That's a local brand. Like almost any local brand chip worth their weight is better than Lay's. Like the kettle cooked Ways are like the really strong, whatever like Lay's, whenever they do like really stronger chip. Like sorry, Ruffles are better. I'm not even thinking of Lay's. Ruffles are
kettle
better.
Cooked.
Absolutely.
Kettle cooked are good.
I do appreciate kettle cooked.
Anything that has a good crunch and is good for dipping is a good chip.
You want some crunch.
Kettle cooked is my
when
favorite.
I think of Lay's, like they're just nothing. Like there's
you pick
nothing
them
there.
up and they're already
there's
broken.
no crunch.
They just never last. Doritos are better because they're more rigid. Doritos are actually
exactly.
better.
What's the rigidity?
Yeah, you can't like
So,
you grab a handful.
You've heard
and they're
it here
snapped.
first, folks.
Correct. And crashed.
MMOs are just potato chips, and that's your taste in MMOs correlates directly to which potato chip you like.
Yeah, I'd say that there's merit in Guild Wars 2 and WoW in terms of the MMO genre, even though like the problem is with MMOs and the reason why they're all kind of the same is it's how they have to have players in there, right? So they like, okay, we have to market this to as many people as possible. So already we're kind of fucking ourselves, but it gets worse. We're marketing this to everyone, and everyone is always online. So we have to have combat that is based around the fact that it can't be super accurate. It can't be super... There were games like Terra. There were games like Terra where there is more action-oriented combat, and some games are trying to be like MMO models. Like Destiny's having an MMO model.
But that's the thing. Even in games like Black Desert, where you have like really like active, like crazy looking combat, like the enemies don't have like hit reactions, so you're just doing combos to fucking training dummies that occasionally.
That is the ultimate problem, and I feel like unless we can really like change up the infrastructure of like internet for everyone, and like also come out with a game that will utilize all this new tech. And, like, also not cost $1 billion fucking dollars to make and, like, require, like, 1 billion fucking accounts for it to be profitable. There's just no way we're gonna see a massive shift in the MMO genre. When we should have seen it was in, like, 2010, 2011, but every fucking game was like, we gotta beat WoW. We gotta beat WoW. It's like, no, don't beat WoW. Make something original and different. WoW does what it does the best because it's a progression-based RPG.
WoW just immediately decided that they wanted to play fucking I don't know, insert failed MMO attempt here.
Warhammer Online, fucking God, there was a million of them. I can't even. They're all just rushing to my head right now.
Conan Exile.
That one got rebooted, didn't it?
I think so.
There was no Conan Online, or it was something online.
Yeah, there was something.
It was, and then there was like what World War II Online. There was a StarCraft MMO that was supposed to be coming out.
You guys want to play Furcadia?
Oh fucking and Rifts was one. Fucking what was that other one? From I think it was from EA or oh my god, I just forgot about it. Oh yeah, Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is still going. It got a Steam release. It's like it's got merit because you know they figured it out and they're like, okay, we'll just make a fun Star Wars game and we'll just work on the story because oh my god, because everyone wanted a KOTOR 3 and they just like here's an MMO, fuck it, KOTOR 2 is non-canon, the only good one. Great.
You want to know a good MMO? Toontown. That was really dope.
I played 3 days of that.
Every day we stray further from Toontown's light.
You know what's funny? I was playing
deaf to the sins of this world.
I had 3 MMOs I was playing back in the day. It was trying free trials for all of them. My mom's like, you can only have one game subscription. I'm like, okay. So it's like, I was playing Toontown, there was another one I was gonna try, maybe it was Rifts, I don't fucking know. And then it was World of Warcraft, and when I downloaded and started playing World of Warcraft, I didn't even finish day 3 of my Toontown trial. I was already hooked in WoW forever.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Got some great friends there, some great enemies. Played for on and off 14 years. Now I'm a fat, lonely man.
Now look at me.
And I want to. And I've regretted it ever since.
Yeah,
tell WoW is so fucking bad. If it was still good, I wouldn't care.
I sometimes see people yelling at each other, calling each other fat virgins. I'm like, listen, we're playing World of Warcraft. We're all fat virgins here.
Yeah, like pot calling the kettle here. Like,
oh yeah.
All right.
I think that's
is that a podcast?
Yeah, that's a wrap right there. Aside from Dean's fucking hour-long Guild Wars 2 tangent that wasn't even that.
It was not an hour.
Whoa! Okay, hold on. You cannot blame Dean for any tangent whatsoever, because at least his was video game related. You motherfuckers were ordering cheese on the...
They were fucking insisting on talking about it, motherfucking gaslighter!
Dean didn't even reply to me. So I had to tell him.
I was watching YouTube videos.
We're doing a podcast. You shouldn't be watching YouTube videos.
We're doing a podcast, Joseph. You shouldn't be interrupting me and talking about cheese, and I'm trying to integrate it, and you're like, no, I don't want Jake to even talk about cheese.
I was hungry, okay?
I was trying to integrate it, and I was trying to help you, and you're like, nah, let me talk over to Jake.
I didn't want integration.
I just wanted cheese.
No, I'm not crazy about that, right? I was trying to, like...
You're not crazy. The cheese thing was a bit of beyond the pale. But I think, a no-context cheese conversation could have some appeal.
Yeah. Do you guys want to play
thinking about starting the Technical Miracle Cheese Cast.
You know what? I am a fatso. I'm an expert on cheese. I've been eating cheese since I was a little boy. Eating cheese while playing WoW. I'm pretty good with a cheese palate. I could probably do that.
Give me
really
the
well.
fucking cheese.
Maybe wine. Maybe wine and cheese. The technical wine and cheese. I don't know. Alright, that's it for the podcast. You guys want to play something, actually? Now that we're all here?
Space Station 13?
We'll play something.
Let's play
something.
Guild Wars 2. I want to play all the cutscenes.
I need to install it, because...
Okay. Thank you very much. Shut up. Yeah. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, everyone. See you next time. I'm going to get these idiots out of here. Goodbye. Good night.